talk a little bit about how you can use music to communicate this idea of what claustrophobia, being trapped. How are some of those emotional stakes? How can you communicate that in music? How did you guys think about that job?
You know, with this episode, I'm a mother, and I didn't know what was going to happen as we were watching it. But when we finally saw what happened, and I realized, oh no, we're going to have to work on this,
It was a big oh
watch
no.
it 500 times.
Mm.
Okay, this is going to be rough because I'm a mother. I can relate to some of the things that were going on, you know, her health condition that ended up, I don't know who's not seen the episode, so I don't want to say, but ended up playing a big part in her experience.
Yeah.
And breastfeeding and how psychedelic it is the first, 24, 48 hours you have a child, and like they captured it so perfectly. And so I felt like, oh boy, I'm going to have to go into that storage room inside here that I try to like push away and like kind of make sure I access some of that pain and trauma, because of that's what the show is about, and make sure that I'm feeling that while I'm creating whatever I'm creating or starting or finishing or whatever. And it was hard. It was really, really hard.
Anna was sort of knocked sideways by it for about 2 weeks after we worked on 206. Like, she would sort of lie on that couch.
It's like an analysis
position. Yeah, in her analysis.
Yeah.
It was very intense.
It was intense.
Very intense episode.
I really related to some of those scenes. And if I was just watching the show, which it's an intense show to watch, and I've got sometimes very lowbrow taste, but so I wouldn't necessarily be watching it. But when watching it, to me, it was just like, oh my God, this is so intensely relatable and painful, except they're in a living nightmare.
Yeah.
And it was hard to shake that. I got really attached. And like on projects that I love working on, that happens. I kind of, something just clicks where it's like, okay, now I'm all in. I'm immersed in this. This person is my muse, or these people are my muses. And I just get so attached. And both of us around that time, we had just kind of like created all of these new themes, and we were a little more cerebral. And when we got to this episode and then the rest of the season, which takes an emotional turn, we were both like, all right, well, we can't get out of this now. We're in it. We're like,
Yeah, it was really the pivot point for us, where beforehand we had kidded ourselves that we could somehow maintain some balance, some semblance of balance of life work. And it was during this episode where we finally just surrendered to it.
Yeah.
The I don't know, what is it they say in the show? The
wilderness chooses.
The wilderness chooses. It
shows us.
It just demands something very. It demands total surrender and gives back, but it's also very, very difficult. And this was the episode that where we finally admitted it to ourselves, where we finally started being honest with ourselves that, okay, we're working on this show 7 days a week, and we're not really exiting a dream state, right?
No.
Anna's in her pajamas on the couch, and we're in this story.
I mean, I would wake up sometimes and be like, am I in the cabin where, like, we really got in there. And I mean, it pays off, I feel like, because, well, first of all, the material that they gave us to work with, that Sophie,
especially in this episode, unreal.
She's unbelievable. All of them are so good. And this episode of this show, it kind of like showed us where we can, not just us as the composers, but where this show can go.
Yeah.
It can go somewhere that's insanely powerful. Like, it was also the first time we're experiencing their trauma with them, aside from the plane crash, but like they're always talking about, you know, what we've
What
survived.
happened? What happened?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we saw the
Yeah.
thing with Jackie. We get little pieces of the cookie, but this was straight to the heart.